Welcome back, escapers from reality to virtual reality, to the Gamer Muscle YouTube channel. In today's video, we're taking a look at Rez. Not the PlayStation 2 version, not the Dreamcast version, not the Xbox Live version, and not the PlayStation 3 version, and not even the PlayStation 4, PlayStation VR version. No, we're checking out Rez Infinite on the Oculus Rift on the glorious master race platform that is the PC. Now, I'd assume that most people know what Rez is because it's a reasonably old game and it's a classic. It's it's in that sort of Shadow of the Colossus, Half-Life 1, defining game of a genre. You should know what Rez is. But say you don't know what it is. One way of describing the gameplay would be it's a on-rails arcade shooter that is bananas and somewhat Japanese. That's one way of describing it, but it doesn't really get to the core of what the gameplay is. Ultimately, the best way to describe it without playing it is if you went to a local field at the right time of year, picked a bunch of mushrooms, don't bother checking what they are, consume them all, and then shone LEDs in your face, whilst listening to 90s techno music, you'd probably get something relatively similar to the experience of playing Rez. Now, in terms of how you actually play the game and what you do as a player, the original Rez, you would use a joystick to move the square around the screen, highlight over the enemies and objects that are flowing towards you, and just press a button, which then launches your rockets at them. And with the original game, that worked quite well, but it does get really hard when you've got the later stages or if you're trying to get 100% perfect scores on the different stages. Now, where the VR version innovates on this is in multiple ways. Firstly, you can actually play it with touch controllers or you can just play it with a gamepad. But firstly, if you are just playing it with a gamepad, what the VR version does really nicely is it combines the head tracking into the aiming. So you can aim with the joystick but also move with your head to get more precision aim, which alleviates some of the frustration and makes the game a lot more accessible than the original was. And if you're not playing it with the Xbox 360 controller or a PlayStation 4 controller on PlayStation VR, but you've actually got the Oculus touch controllers or the PlayStation motion controllers, you can then use one of your hands to move the aiming with your hand as if you were aiming a gun almost, but you can also still use your head to refine that movement. The end result is it feels incredible. It doesn't feel difficult and clumsy like the original toy. It just feels totally seamless, almost as if the game was originally designed for touch controllers and VR. It'd be easy if you'd never played this game before to actually think, oh, this was a made for VR game, because all of it comes together that actually just makes it make sense in VR. Though technically it only uses one controller to aim, you can use either left or right controller. Whichever button you last press will make it use that controller, so it doesn't matter if you're left or right-handed when it comes to playing this. But also you find the vibration, you can set it in the menu so you get the music vibration going through both controllers, and it's just a really nice additional layer to get you into the game. And that's the whole point of Rez, is this sort of synesthesia of mixing music, gameplay, visuals, and it's borderline an experience. It's got gameplay to it. It is a game, but it's sort of 50-50. Now, in terms of the VR version specifically and what it actually brings to the table, the biggest thing is obviously you've got the original game there, playable on PC, and it's really nicely polished and it works really well, as I say. But it also introduces a new arena made specifically for the PlayStation 4 VR and this Oculus VR version of the game called Arena X. And this brings modern graphics, though still abstract, and modern music, so less 90s techno and more sort of 2010s techno and trance to the table. And, Arena X, as an experience, just visually, is absolutely mind-blowing. I really wouldn't be surprised if some people playing it would just start crying because it's that overwhelming. Just all the colours, the animations, the way you move through the environment, how you interact with stuff, and the combination of music, everything just comes together into something that's really quite pure, leaving your brain somewhat confused as to what's going on. But it's very enjoyable, so it's all good. What I definitely recommend, though, doing if you do get this is that you play some of the original stages first and you'll be like, oh, this is pretty bloody good, and then load up Arena X after maybe doing one or two of them and you'll be like, oh my god, just incredible. But I've said too many good things again. We'll get to the negative part of the video. This is generally a review. So what I would say the biggest crime of this game is Arena X is just one stage that lasts, say, 10-15 minutes. And that's it in terms of the actual modern content that's been added to this. As I said, you do get the original Rez game, and there's a good amount of content, especially for the asking price of the title. It's not released as a full price AAA game, so it's well worth the value for money. But it really is, it's almost just irritating because it is so good that it would be nice to just have more content there. And I think anyone that plays this would agree that they'd be willing to pay the same again for a full game in the new style, where you've got the freedom to move your character around, the new graphics and the new music and new sound effects. Other than that, there's not really many negatives when it comes to Rez Infinite. I'd say, strangely, despite the fact that you are zooming along through an environment or 90s techno music video, you don't get motion sick from it in either the old original classic levels or the new level, maybe because it's mostly dark around you and you're kind of looking at a character and then the polygons aren't filled and it's more sort of particles and stuff. Maybe that's why you don't get motion sick. I think the developer's done some clever trickery with scale as well, which probably reduces motion sickness. But it's a very comfortable game to play, which you might not think watching it in 2D now in this video. You probably expect it to be vomiting all over your computer or your VR headset, but actually, no, really comfortable game. Also, despite the game looking absolutely stunning visually, it seems to run really well, and there's plenty of graphics options there. You can choose from different AA, different super sampling, and I'm sure people with even mid to low-end spec systems will be able to run this perfectly fine. Of course, with it being released for PlayStation VR and the PlayStation 4 not being a supercomputer, that's probably why it's so optimized. And then obviously the abstract graphic style allows for something that looks visually stunning but doesn't necessarily cause your computer to go into nuclear meltdown. In conclusion, I'd definitely say this is one of in my top 10 favourite VR games at this point in time. Just the sheer polish. It's a really good demonstration of someone taking a game that's pre-existing and actually executing it in VR perfectly. So much so, as I said earlier in the video, that you could get this and you would think it was a made-for-VR game. The way you move the character in the Arena X as well is really nicely done, really fluid. The way they balance the movement using the head tracking and the aiming with the controller. It doesn't feel clumsy, it doesn't feel burdensome like some VR titles. It just all comes together and works perfectly, and it's just an absolute joy to play and experience. Definitely go out and get this straight away. If you've got a VR headset, this is one of those games you just have to play. So I hope this video review was enjoyable, useful, entertaining and arousing. If it indeed was all those things, make sure you do click the subscribe button, likey dislikey, and if you've got any questions, ask them in the comment section. I'll try and answer as many as possible. But off for a cup of tea. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until the next video, goodbye.